It's 3:17 a.m. Your eyes snap open. The house is silent, the world outside still asleep, and yet, here you are, staring at the ceiling once again. You didn't hear a sound. You're not thirsty. You just woke up. If you're like most women over 60 that I've worked with over the past decade, this moment isn't new. It keeps happening. And you keep asking yourself the same thing. Why now? Well, what if I told you this isn't just a coincidence? What if your body, your nervous system, or even your heart is trying to tell you something, and you've simply never been taught how to listen? Waking up between 3 and 5 a.m. is one of the most overlooked signs that your body is communicating. It's not random. In traditional Chinese medicine, these early hours are associated with the lungs, organs deeply connected not only to breath, but to grief, unprocessed emotions, and quiet stress. In Western medicine, we also see hormonal changes, cortisol spikes, and melatonin dips all peaking at this hour. That means this moment isn't just about sleep, it's about awareness. I remember one of my patients, Annette, a 74-year-old woman who told me, "I used to think I was broken, waking up every single night. But then I realized, my body was just asking me to slow down and listen." Since then, I've looked at these wake-up calls not as interruptions, but invitations. And I want you to see them that way too. In this video, I'll be sharing 5 essential things you should do when you wake up between 3 and 5 a.m. These aren't random tricks. They're backed by science and refined through years of working with older women just like you. And trust me, tip number 4 is the one most people miss, but it could be the missing link that transforms your nights into something healing, even sacred. So, if you've ever laid awake wondering if you're alone in this, you're not. And if this resonates with you, now is the perfect moment to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and comment below with what time you usually wake up. You'd be amazed how many others are walking the same path. Remember, getting older doesn't mean losing sleep. It means learning a new rhythm, a deeper connection with your body, and a more peaceful relationship with rest. So next time 3 a.m. finds you wide awake, don't fight it. Don't panic. And definitely don't grab your phone. Instead, stay with me, because we're about to begin the first step in turning that moment into something meaningful. Let's begin. 1. Don't force sleep. Adjust your state instead. You glance at the clock, 3:26 a.m. Your heart sinks. You've been here before, haven't you? The room is silent, the air still, but your mind, racing. If I fall asleep now, I'll get 3 more hours, you whisper to yourself. Okay, maybe 2.5. 1, if I'm lucky. And just like that, you're spiraling, frustrated, restless, and wide awake. But what if I told you that the very act of trying to force sleep is what's keeping it away? After over a decade of helping older women navigate sleep struggles, I can tell you this with certainty. Waking up in the middle of the night isn't the real problem. It's what we do in the minutes after that matters most. You see, when we panic or pressure ourselves to fall back asleep, we trigger our body's stress response. Cortisol begins to rise, your sympathetic nervous system kicks in, and instead of drifting back into rest, your body prepares for battle. Sleep, which requires softness and surrender, can't coexist with that kind of pressure. It's like trying to fall asleep in a war zone. But what if you approach this moment differently? Instead of fighting wakefulness, what if you simply adjusted your state? That's the key. First, sit up slightly, no lights, no sudden movement, just a gentle shift in posture. This small action tells your nervous system, I'm safe, I'm aware, I'm okay. Now place one hand on your chest, one on your belly, and take a slow breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold gently, then exhale through your mouth for 6. Repeat this rhythm 5 times. It's called 4 to 6 breathing, and it helps switch off the fight or flight response while inviting in the parasympathetic system, the one responsible for healing, digestion, and, yes, deep sleep. Next, check your environment. Is your pillow too flat? Are your sheets twisted? Is the room too warm or chilly? Many times, subtle discomforts interrupt sleep without us even realizing it. Science tells us that a bedroom temperature between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit promotes optimal sleep, so make a quick adjustment if needed. Still awake? Take a sip of room temperature water. Not too much, just enough to calm the body without waking your bladder later. And here's the part most people skip. Ask your mind what it's trying to say. One of my clients, Margaret, 72, once told me that waking up at 3:15 a.m. every night felt like a burden until she realized it was the only time her mind was quiet enough to hear what was really bothering her. Maybe that's what this moment is for. Keep a notebook nearby. Write down the first thoughts that come. A worry, a dream, a feeling. It doesn't have to make sense. Just right. It's a form of mental decluttering. Neuroscientists call it externalizing cognition. It helps your brain process thoughts more clearly and reduces nighttime anxiety. And if you're not in the mood to write, try visualizing. A gentle lake, a walk through trees at sunrise, warm light spilling through a kitchen window. Let your body settle into the scene. Let your thoughts pass like clouds. The truth is, you don't need to force yourself to sleep. You need to make space for sleep to return. That means letting go of the struggle, the shame, the pressure to perform sleep like it's a job. I always tell my clients, you are not broken. You are not failing. You are simply in a moment of awareness, and how you respond will shape what happens next. So, if this resonates with you, pause right now. Hit the like button so I know this is helping someone out there. Subscribe if you haven't already, and in the comments, tell me, what's the first thing that usually pops into your mind when you wake up at 3 a.m.? You might find that others have felt the same, and sometimes just knowing that can bring comfort. Aging doesn't mean accepting restless nights. It means understanding your rhythms, respecting your body's signals, and responding with wisdom, not frustration. So the next time your eyes open before sunrise, don't fight it. Don't fear it. Just adjust. Because when you learn how to respond to your body with calm, presence, and intention, something amazing happens. Sleep often returns on its own. And if it doesn't right away, you've still reclaimed the moment. Now, let's go deeper. Because sometimes, it's not your body keeping you up, it's your heart. In the next part, we'll explore how unspoken emotions may be quietly waking you, and what to do when that happens. Let's continue. 2. Hydrate but smartly, the nighttime mistake that's keeping you awake. You wake up at 3:47 a.m. and something just feels off. Your mouth is dry, your legs won't stop twitching, and you feel oddly warm even though your room is perfectly cool. You glance at the clock, hoping to fall back asleep, but instead, you're left tossing, turning, and wondering, why does this keep happening? What most people don't realize is that your body might not be craving more sleep. It might simply be asking for water. And not just any water, but the right kind, in the right way. As we age, our ability to stay hydrated diminishes. I've seen this time and again in my patients, especially women over 60. During the night, we lose water silently, through our breath, our skin, and the natural metabolic processes that never stop while we rest. By the time you wake up, even if it's just a brief interruption, your body may already be operating in a state of mild dehydration. And that's when the symptoms show up: dry mouth, restless legs, early morning headaches, that strange sensation of being wide awake but mentally foggy. But here's the critical part: how you respond to this matters more than you think. Most people instinctively reach for a glass of cold water straight from the kitchen. It feels refreshing, yes, but in reality, cold water can actually shock your system. It tightens your stomach, spikes alertness, and may even raise your core temperature, making it harder, not easier, to return to sleep. Instead, I want you to try something radically simple: warm or room temperature water. Keep it by your bedside. And here's where we make it smart: add a pinch of mineral-rich sea salt. Just a few grains of Celtic or Himalayan salt can gently replenish the electrolytes your body loses overnight, like sodium and magnesium, helping your muscles relax and your nervous system feel balanced again. Don't like salt? A few drops of fresh lemon juice works beautifully too. Lemon helps with overnight digestion, supports gentle liver function, and provides a bit of potassium, a mineral your cells need to rest and recover. Now, if you wake up not just restless but anxious, your mind spinning, heart fluttering, consider keeping a small thermos of chamomile tea within reach. Brew it before bed and set it by your nightstand. Chamomile isn't just a bedtime cliche. It contains apigenin, a compound that binds to receptors in the brain and helps quiet overactivity. In short, it tells your system, you're safe. It's okay to rest now. And here's a little truth that might surprise you. Many of my clients who start using this mindful hydration ritual report not just better sleep, but better mornings. They feel calmer, more grounded, and less likely to wake up feeling tense or depleted. Hydration isn't just about drinking water. It's about how, when, and what your body truly needs in those vulnerable moments. It's a quiet form of care, and when done right, it can transform how you experience both your nights and your days. If this insight is making something click for you, take a second now to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're just getting started. And let me know in the comments. Do you normally drink water when you wake up at night? What do you notice afterwards? Do you feel more alert or more at ease? Your story could inspire someone else who's been silently struggling with the same sleepless pattern. Now that we've nourished the body, let's talk about something even deeper, something many people overlook. Because sometimes, the reason you're waking up at 3 a.m. isn't physical at all. It's emotional. It's unspoken worry, lingering sadness, or a quiet grief that hasn't had a voice in the daylight. And when it knocks at your door in the early morning hours, you need to know how to respond. In the next section, we'll uncover how your emotional state might be behind your sleep disruption and what gentle steps you can take to restore calm from the inside out. Let's continue. 3. Check your emotions. Your mind might be the one waking you. It's 4:12 a.m. You didn't hear a noise. You're not in pain. The temperature feels just right. And yet, you're awake. Eyes open, heart humming, a quiet weight pressing gently on your chest. You can't explain it, but something doesn't feel settled. In that still darkness, it's not your body calling for attention, it's your emotions. And the truth is, many women I've worked with over the past decade wake up at this exact time, night after night, unsure why. But when we start exploring deeper, we uncover something powerful. These early hours often hold emotional messages we've avoided during the day. In traditional Chinese medicine, the time between 3 and 5 a.m. is associated with the lungs, which are linked not only to breath, but also to grief, sadness, and unspoken sorrow. And in modern neuroscience, studies confirm that sleep is when the brain attempts to sort and file away emotional content. But if a feeling is unresolved, stress from a recent conversation, a regret, a buried memory, it may rise to the surface when the world is quiet and your defenses are down. That's why you may wake with a heavy heart, a racing mind, or a strange sense of loss. It's not a malfunction, it's a signal. And the kindest thing you can do is pause and listen. When this happens, don't just toss and turn, fighting what you feel. Instead, meet it gently. Sit up in bed or lean back against your pillow. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Don't overthink the answer. It might be one word, lonely or nervous or disappointed. That's enough. Naming it is the first step in releasing it. Keep a notebook by your bedside and write down the first 3 thoughts that come to mind. Don't censor them. You're not writing a journal entry for anyone to read. You're giving your mind a safe space to offload what it's been holding. One of my patients, Dorothy, a 78-year-old widow, used to wake every night haunted by conversations she never got to finish with her late husband. When I encouraged her to write those thoughts down, even scribbles or single sentences, she found that her chest didn't feel as tight. Eventually, the wake-ups became less frequent. She told me, it felt like my heart finally had somewhere to go. Writing like this isn't about solving problems. It's about externalizing the storm so it doesn't swirl endlessly inside you. Once you've written, pair it with a breathing exercise. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold. Then exhale through your mouth for 6. As you exhale, say silently or softly, I release this, for now. You're not denying the emotion. You're simply putting it down for the night. And here's the beautiful part. When you allow your emotions to be heard without judgment, they often soften on their own. You shift from resistance to understanding, from tension to peace. Some mornings, you might cry. Some nights, you might feel a flood of memories. Let it happen. These are not breakdowns, they are breakthroughs. And often, the body responds by easing back into sleep once it knows the mind has been cared for. If this speaks to you, if you've ever felt that invisible weight in the early hours, I invite you to take a moment now. Like this video if it helps you feel seen. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're building a safe space here for rest, healing, and aging with wisdom. And in the comments, tell me, what feeling shows up most often when you wake between 3 and 5 a.m.? Your story might help another woman feel less alone in hers. Now that you've taken time to check in with your inner world, it's time to reconnect with your physical one. Because sometimes, even after our minds settle, our bodies still carry the echo of tension, and that's when gentle movement becomes your next ally. In the next section, we'll walk through a simple 1-minute reset you can do right in bed. Something quiet, calming, and surprisingly effective in helping your body release, restore, and return to sleep. Let's continue. 4. Move gently. Reset your body without leaving the bed. It's 4:23 a.m. You've tried breathing. You've even written down your thoughts. But your body, it won't cooperate. Your neck feels tight. Your back is stiff. Your legs are restless, as if they're carrying the tension of a full day, even though it's the middle of the night. And the harder you try to stay still, the more your body resists. Sound familiar? This is something I've seen countless times working with older adults, especially women. We think of sleep as a purely mental process, but your physical body also needs cues to release and reset. And when you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., sometimes the best thing you can do isn't to stay frozen in frustration, it's to move. Gently, mindfully, intentionally. You see, during the night, your muscles don't just rest, they can actually tighten from hours of lying still. Blood circulation slows. Joints can become stiff. And if you've been dealing with stress or anxiety, your shoulders may have crept up toward your ears, your jaw might be clenched, and your chest subtly tense without you even knowing it. That's why when you're tossing and turning, unable to find that just right position, your body may be asking for one thing: release. Let's talk about how to do that without waking yourself up further or needing to get out of bed. I call it the 1-minute reset, and I've shared it with many women who now swear by it as their go-to nighttime ritual. Start with your neck, one of the most common places we hold tension. Sit up slightly or stay reclined, and gently roll your head in a slow circle. Drop your chin toward your chest, then slowly roll to the right, ear toward shoulder, then back, then left. Do this twice in each direction. Breathe as you move. Don't rush. You're not doing exercise, you're signaling safety. Next, move to your shoulders. Lift both shoulders up toward your ears and hold for a count of 3. Then let them drop with an exhale. Do this 3 times. You may hear a small pop or feel a click. Don't be alarmed. It's your body releasing stored tension. Now, if you're sitting on the edge of the bed or can do so easily, try a gentle forward fold. Keep your feet flat on the floor and slowly hinge at the hips, letting your arms dangle toward your knees or the floor. Let gravity do the work. This not only stretches the lower back, a common area of nighttime tightness, but it also encourages blood flow to the brain, which can calm the nervous system. Still lying down? No problem. Try a simple leg shake. Straighten one leg and gently bounce or shake it out for 10 seconds. Then switch. This isn't meant to energize you. It's meant to discharge built-up restlessness. Think of it like letting your limbs sigh in relief. One more powerful tip. If your hands or feet feel cold, rub them together for 10 to 15 seconds to stimulate circulation. Then place your warm hands over your chest, belly, or thighs, wherever you feel tension. This simple act brings warmth, comfort, and a message of safety to your nervous system. Now, pair all of these movements with slow breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6. As you exhale, imagine melting into your bed, like soft sand settling on the ocean floor. Why does this work? Because movement, when done gently and with intention, tells your body you're not in danger. It's safe to rest now. It helps shift your physiology out of fight or flight mode and into recovery. And when your body feels that, your mind tends to follow. I can't tell you how many women I've seen change their entire sleep experience just by adding the 60-second reset. One of them, Linda, age 76, used to feel like her legs were constantly rebelling against rest. It's like they had a mind of their own, she once told me. After a few nights of doing these subtle movements, she reported something amazing. Not only was she falling back asleep faster, but she felt less sore in the mornings. These are the quiet victories. The kind that come not from force, but from kindness. Listening to your body and meeting it halfway. And if this part of the video has given you something helpful, take a moment now. Tap the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share in the comments. What part of your body holds the most tension at night? Neck? Legs? Lower back? You never know who you might help by sharing. Now that we've supported both your mind and your muscles, it's time to address one last piece of the puzzle, your environment. Because even with a calm brain and relaxed body, your surroundings may still be overstimulating your senses. And there's one tool that's often overlooked, yet incredibly powerful for sleep: sound. In the next section, we'll explore how the right kind of audio, whether it's pink noise, guided meditation, or a monotone audiobook, can guide your brain back into a place of rest, naturally and gently. Let's continue. 5. Calm your brain with sound. Lam Diotam Tribangam Tan. It's 3:58 a.m., and your mind is moving faster than ever. You've tried breathing. You've adjusted your body. But now, your thoughts are off and running, racing through memories, rehashing old conversations, rehearsing tomorrow's to-do list. It's like your brain has decided that this is the perfect time for a marathon. And no matter how hard you try to silence it, it just gets louder. Sound familiar? What if I told you the key to calming that runaway mind is actually sound? I know, it seems counterintuitive. You're lying awake, desperate for silence. But silence isn't always peaceful. Sometimes, it's the perfect backdrop for anxious thoughts to take over. And this is where the right kind of sound becomes a gentle, powerful ally. In my years of helping older adults navigate sleep challenges, I've learned that one of the most overlooked tools for quieting the brain is not trying to turn it off, but rather giving it something soft to follow. Here's why it works. Your brain responds to rhythm. It loves patterns. When you're awake and overstimulated, your mind clings to whatever is loudest, and in the quiet of night, that's usually your thoughts. But when you introduce consistent, soothing audio, you give your brain a more calming rhythm to attach to, something that gently guides it away from stress and towards stillness. Let's talk options. First, there's pink noise, not white noise, which can be harsh, but pink noise, which mimics the sounds of nature, soft rainfall, rustling leaves, ocean waves. It has more emphasis on lower frequencies, which many people find less jarring and more deeply relaxing. Research from Northwestern University even found that pink noise not only improves sleep quality but also enhances memory the next day. Keep a small speaker nearby or use a track from a trusted app. Set it low, just enough to create a background presence. It shouldn't feel like noise. It should feel like a lullaby for your nervous system. Another option is a short guided sleep meditation. I always recommend something between 5 and 10 minutes, nothing too long or elaborate. Look for a voice that's slow, gentle, and predictable. A good meditation might lead you through a body scan or breathing sequence. It gives your mind a job, one that's just boring enough to lull you, but structured enough to steer you away from spiraling. And it works because it replaces the question, "Why can't I sleep?" with a far better question, "Can I follow this voice for just one more breath?" Still not your thing? Then try a monotone audiobook. Yes, really. The goal isn't entertainment, it's gentle distraction. Choose something neutral and low stakes. A book on nature, history, gardening, or even geology. Avoid stories with drama, surprise twists, or high emotion. What you want is the calm, steady cadence of a voice that invites your brain to rest by simply losing interest. And here's something to remember. Whatever you choose, use a sleep timer. You don't want the sound to play all night. Set it to fade out after 20 or 30 minutes, just enough to help you cross that bridge back into sleep. One of my clients, Elaine, age 73, once told me she felt embarrassed admitting that she fell asleep every night to a man reading aloud about British hedgerows. But then she added with a laugh, "I haven't needed a sleeping pill in 6 months. That's the power of sound. Not to silence your thoughts, but to gently outcompete them with something kinder. So if your mind tends to wake before your body is ready, try this tonight. Prepare your sound cue ahead of time, just like you'd lay out a glass of water or fluff your pillow. Don't wait until you're desperate. Make it part of your nighttime safety net. And if this has given you an idea or a moment of clarity, pause now. Backhand index pointing right, hit the like button. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe if you haven't already. Backhand index pointing right, and in the comments, tell me, what's the sound that brings you the most comfort? Rain? A soft voice? The ocean? You might be surprised to learn how many people share the same need for something gentle to guide them back to rest. Now that you've given your brain a new rhythm to follow, we've reached the final part of this journey. Let's take everything we've learned, from honoring the wake-up, hydrating with care, releasing emotion, moving with intention, and calming the mind, and wrap it together with one important reminder: you're not broken. You're just being invited to listen. And what you do with that invitation can change everything. Let's finish strong together. So here we are, at the end of this journey, and I hope by now you're seeing it differently. Those 3 to 5 a.m. wake-ups, they aren't failures. They aren't flaws. They're invitations. Subtle, quiet, deeply personal invitations to pause, to listen, to realign with what your body and soul may be quietly asking for. And the truth is, for many women in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, this window of time, once filled with frustration, can become a doorway into something deeply healing. We've covered a lot today. We talked about how forcing sleep only feeds anxiety, and instead, adjusting your state through breath and posture can gently guide you back into rest. We explored how smart hydration with warm water, trace minerals, or calming teas like chamomile can ease both body and mind. We looked at emotional check-ins, giving voice to unspoken thoughts and feelings that surface when the world is silent. We added gentle movement to help your body release tension and reconnect with stillness. And finally, we use sound as a bridge, a soothing rhythm that helps your mind shift from mental chatter to peaceful surrender. Each of these tools isn't about fixing a problem. They're about recognizing a deeper truth, that your nighttime wake-ups are not broken moments, they're moments of awareness. And when you respond to them with patience and compassion, everything changes. I've seen women go from dreading these hours to embracing them. One client of mine, in her mid-70s, once told me, "I used to feel like a prisoner to the clock. Now, I light a small candle, breathe, write down what I'm feeling, and sometimes I don't even need to fall back asleep. I just rest in that moment and feel whole again." That, to me, is the real definition of healing, not escaping discomfort, but learning how to be with yourself, fully and kindly, in the moments that matter most. And that's what I want for you. I want you to know that you're not alone. That waking up early doesn't mean something's wrong. It might just mean something inside you is ready to be heard. So the next time your eyes open at 3:17 or 4:03, don't panic. Don't reach for your phone. Don't scold yourself. Instead, try asking, what is this moment offering me? Maybe it's a breath. Maybe it's a release. Maybe it's a whisper from your body that says, "I'm here. Let's take care of each other." And if this video has given you a new way to think about your sleep, your body, or yourself, I'd love to hear from you. Backhand index pointing right, click the like button if this resonated with you. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We're building a space for healing, wisdom, and supportive wellness for every season of life. Backhand index pointing right. And in the comments, please share, what part of this nighttime ritual spoke to you the most? Was it the breathing, the writing, the sound, the stillness? Your experience might be the very thing that gives someone else hope tonight. Because no matter your age, your history, or your health, you deserve peace. You deserve rest. And even in the quietest hours of the night, healing is always within reach. Until next time, take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video.